All right, Shalom. I want to start off as always by giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim, Racha HaKodash. The one is unto the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I want to send much love unto the brothers out there doing this work in truth and sincerity. And also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And in this lesson, I wanted to do a response video unto this video here that was put up by GB News. And as you can see, the title of the video reads, "Big changes are coming concerning UK AI bill you won't hear in the media." Now, today at work, from morning to about 1 or 2 o'clock, all I did was watch news in the UK concerning the AI bill, concerning digital currencies, concerning digital IDs, social credit scores, everything, all right, concerning the MOTB system. And in the UK, man, they're moving fast with the MOTB system, all right? We know through the spirit, man, that London is the financial hub of the B system. And when they truly go digital, right, as a country so-called, you better believe that America is coming right behind that, okay? But this is a very good video here, man. I actually have a few videos that I want to respond to. So be on the lookout for that, man. All right, I got a few videos that I want to respond to concerning the UK and what their government is over there pushing, man. Some good information, all right? Now, before I play this video here, I wanted to get a precept in Isaiah 46 and the 10th verse here, this NLT Bible, and it says, "Only I can tell you the future before it even happens. Everything I plan will come to pass, for I do whatever I wish." Now, I wanted to read this precept because within prophecy, the Heavenly Father warns us about this MOTB system. And what ultimately Esau is going to try and do once this thing get up and running. All right, he want to put that C-hip in your body, right? And ultimately have control over your whole life, okay? Klaus Schwab went so far to say that they want to change your DNA and your genetic makeup to pretty much turn you into a robot, right? Tie you into the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence, pretty much dehumanize you, okay? Very sick plans. But the Heavenly Father has already warned us about this future to come. And we're seeing it manifesting, man, all right? And for you brothers and sisters out there, lock in the spirit, bro. This ride going to get bumpy soon, okay? Society as we know it is going to change drastically. And certain individuals in the faith are going to be, unfortunately, caught up in this stuff, man, because they ain't taking this thing serious and they're thinking this is a joke. It's not a joke, man. The Lord is putting the spirit on Esau to bring forth this MOTB system, man. That's a very important prophecy that you must know and understand. So without further ado, I want to play this video here. It's 12 minutes long, so I'll speed it up a little. But very powerful video here. And Lord willing, this is edifying. So here we go.
AI, artificial intelligence. The way the politicians talk about it, you would think that it was the savior of humanity. Appropriately, perhaps, given the opaque nature of AI, there are very few eyes on the issue when it is debated in governmental forums all around the world. And this is particularly bad here in the UK. Why? Well, partly, I don't think many MPs really understand the implications of what they're debating. Also, many newspaper editors don't seem to grasp the future towards which we are hurtling. The British Parliament was literally debating AI today in the UK, but nobody in the media was giving it the slightest of mentions. Nobody but me, that is. So let me introduce you to the harbinger of freedom, truth, and civil liberties, the glorious Silkie Carlo of London's Big Brother Watch. It's an organisation desperately trying to hold decision makers to account. I spoke to her alongside my co-presenter on my GB News morning show earlier today, and I started by asking her what the bill being debated is about and why it matters.
Thank you for covering this because it really is important. These are highly technical legal changes, but they are designed to open the floodgates to automated decisions made about all of us in everyday life. So we hear a lot about AI in the press and from politicians, and about innovation and growth and money and GDP. But actually, these are things, and the decisions that can be made by machines are things that affect all of us. And it's not just about money, it's about fairness, it's about justice, privacy, our data, health, even the right to life.
So you see, the ramifications are so huge. How do you even start to dissect what this all might mean? How do you create rules around the laws which are being passed to protect the individual and also the collective? We're not just being reluctant here to use an app or pay by phone. It's not about being a Luddite. It's something much bigger than that.
Because already automated decisions are being made in the NHS about things like organ transplants and who is eligible for an organ transplant and who gets higher up on the list. Police forces are using AI cameras to decide who to stop and question. They also use, some forces are using AI in custody suites to decide who to prosecute and who to release. And of course, we're all familiar with some of the high profile stories like the automation and AI that was used in the A-level grading scandal, which of course got it wrong for thousands of young people who had their lives affected. So we need to be really cautious when we're opening the floodgates to machines making sensitive decisions about our everyday lives. This isn't the kind of thing that should be happening in the shadows. It should be happening with an enormous amount of scrutiny and with the strongest safeguards. But actually what the Labour government is doing is saying we're going to water down massively the very few safeguards that already exist, and we're going to enable AI decisions to be made for all purposes about the public.
This kind of thing makes my blood run cold. You know that feeling, we've all been there. A computer says no, or you're trying to talk to a bot.
When you first heard about creative finance, did you think it was a scam?
Yeah.
Be real.
Yeah.
You did?
Online, and all you want to do is talk to a human being, because not everything in life is black and white. It's not all binary. There is nuance. Well, that feeling, that frustration that we get as individuals, put more AI into our official systems, and that goes on steroids. Imagine this system in relation to, say, vaccines, the latest vaccine that the state says that you have to have. And the state is telling you, not by a person-to-person conversation between maybe a doctor or a medic and an individual, but they're telling you via your phone, and it's an AI system that's making that decision on your behalf. And if you don't take that vaccine, then you can't do the things that you want to do in life. That is where this ends. It's not just about...
Right. Just stop right here real quick. The point she's making there about, taking a jump shot. If you don't take that jump shot that, they decide for you to take, they will know, okay, through AI. They will know if you denied that shot, right? And you won't be able to do things out in public because you're looked at as someone who's ill or sick. You don't want to comply and be clean. You're carrying diseases, right? So they're gonna know through AI, man. Like, you know how crazy that sound? You're denying me things because I don't want to take a shot. But that's a level of craziness that we're going to get to. And most people don't think Esau is that crazy. Yes, he's that crazy. He will deny you basic necessities, right? If you deny his shots. That's what we're heading to, okay? It's foolish, but these are the regulations of the system to come. Here we go.
About vaccines, though, it might be about your mental health. It might be that you are suffering from depression and you tell your doctor, but this goes through the system. At that point, you're told you have to take medication for your depression, or you can't go to work. You might not want to take that medication. I know this feels dystopian, but this is where it's going. We don't have to look at China, where they have the social credit score, of course, and you will have a social credit score on your phone if we don't push back against this. I asked Silkie Carlo to give me a real world example of how this might work.
Right.
To send
you will have a social credit score on your phone. Okay? This is what the elites are pushing. If you're watching the videos, about the World Economic Forum, the world government, like all these so-called councils and movements, man, they've been talking about giving you a social credit score, right? Well, they can't do that without giving you a digital ID first, okay? Once you get that digital ID, then everything else can follow suit. Digital currencies, a social credit score, a digital driver's license, digital passport, but you got to get that digital ID first. And this is where we're headed, man, okay? Just like China, but it's going to be China on steroids, okay? And look, bro, this is going to happen across all governments. This is what they spoke about at the WEF. They want all governments by 2030 to have the Sustainable Development Goals implemented amongst their society, so-called, right? And the number one thing on there is for you to get a digital ID. They need you to get that so that they can track and trace you, okay? So here we go.
Sense the frustration, particularly in the healthcare system.
Absolutely. There was a young woman who was waiting for a liver transplant, a life-saving operation, and she couldn't understand why she wasn't higher up on the list and why her position was where it was. And she wasn't informed by the NHS. She had to do her own research and find out that there was something called the Liver Transplant Benefit Score, which, guess what, is based on lots of pieces of data and is an automated score that was sorting people as to when they should be eligible for a life-saving operation. Wow. And she then was able to find out what data was going in, why she was ranked low, and she did find that there were problems in there, and it was effectively making a nonsensical decision. Now, in cases like that, that's a life and death decision in the NHS already being made by AI. I don't think the public have fully grasped, because of the level of secrecy, just how impactful and widespread these kinds of decisions are.
The liver transplant.
Right. Bro, can you imagine that? Can you imagine needing a life-changing surgery and you go to the doctor, right? And AI tell you, or like tell the doctor, he or she not qualified to get this life-changing surgery, this life or death surgery, because this individual don't meet the requirements to get one. This is how crazy this shit is, all right? Like, you can't even get sick and almost about to die, bro. You go to the hospital and they check your score and they're like, no, he can't get nope. Being denied healthcare, man, or treatment, because maybe you did something, that was off or wrong, and they don't help him out or don't help her out. That's crazy, bro. That's wild. So they really want the people to comply. If you don't comply, they're gonna make life hard for you, bro. This is about to be some goddamn, bro. This is gonna be hell, bro. Okay, this is gonna be hell, man. And we're gonna need Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawashai to support us, man, to sustain us, because if not, Esau is he's gonna make life hell for us, bro. Especially for us who out there on the highways and byways teaching, or doing these lessons, bro. You can get ready, bro. You ain't finna have access to shit. You can get ready. So if you want to leave the truth right now, go ahead and leave. Because you ain't finna get nothing out of Esau's system teaching the word. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm gonna let you know before it even happened. You ain't finna get shit, player. They got the videos. They heard what you said. They know what you do. So when you pop up in the system, oh yeah, that's him. Okay, nah, nope. This is why we're gonna need the Lord, man, to take care of us. Like 1,000% faith in the Lord, bro. We're gonna need that, like impeccable faith, to make it through this thing, bro. Now the Lord may have it to where we can get certain loopholes or whatever, right? To get certain necessities, but overall, it's gonna come down to the MOTB. And if you don't take that, then you know for sure, you can't get no access to nothing. So it's gonna take faith in the Most High to make it through this thing, man. One day you're going to have to abandon your home. You won't be able to live there eventually, unless you take the MOTB, unless you comply to the rules and regulations that Esau put out here in the world. Do you really think we're going to be out there on the highways and byways once this shit, get kicked off? No, sir. Once these AI-powered cameras, these damn drones get put out into society, there's no more teaching. Wherever you at in the spirit, in your faith, that's shit is you. This is why seeking the Lord is so important right now, bro. You got to seek the Lord and work on yourself, man. Work on your faith, your mind. Utilize fasting. Utilize prayer. You need that. We all need that. Some uncomfortable decisions are going to have to be made. We're going to be in uncomfortable situations. Certain brothers are going to be hunted down. Right? This is going to happen. Certain brothers are going to be on the run. Right? Pretty much like the same thing. Certain brothers will be thrown in jail, be unalived. Not everybody, but that's going to be the case for certain brothers for the glory of the Lord. All of this is serious, man. This is no fucking joke. This UK AI bill is what America has, it's called Stargate. Okay? And this UK bill, I believe, this went into law 1 week before Trump got into office. And then Trump came with Stargate. Okay? See, these devils, they do little shit like that. So they're right on, on cue. This finna get serious, man. If you got a health condition and you go to the hospital, AI gonna have to approve you, Ak. If AI don't approve you, you ain't getting no service. Okay, you ain't getting no treatment because you don't fit the requirements. He didn't pay his bill. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. He said some radical on the internet. So you're denied treatment. Boy, it's gonna take some faith, boy. It's gonna take some faith to get through this shit. Here we go.
Slant, benefit, score. Where is the humanity in that statement? Where is a kind doctor or a surgeon discussing that with a patient who's literally facing life and death? We talk about AI as though it is the solution to all these problems. I just can't help but think in all these instances, it's going to create more problems. What does the government say in defense of this bill? Let's look at it. Well, they say that it could boost the UK economy by £10 billion over the next decade. Okay, fine. At what cost? They say that using AI in these circumstances will create conditions for supporting open banking. Quite like my banking closed, actually. Thanks very much. They want to expand smart data schemes. They want to foster tech innovation and competition. Again, we've done this before, haven't we? All sounds so marvelous. They say that it's going to improve public service because the bill is expected to free up 1.5 million hours of police time annually. That might be okay. There might be some logic to that. If a policewoman is entering information into a system and a computer can do that for them, then great. But make sure that those policemen don't just lose their jobs. Those police are replaced and they're on the streets and they're knocking on doors and just checking that victims of crime are okay. And maybe knocking on the doors of some wrong ones as well to make sure that they're not misbehaving. The government claims it's also going to save 140,000 NHS staff hours every year. Really? Because every time the NHS has inculcated some sort of technological advancement within the system, it seems to cause nothing but issues. On my show this morning, I was receiving loads of messages from viewers saying they are incredibly frustrated by the fact that they get a text from their doctor's surgery, not from the doctor, to tell them about an appointment. And maybe they've cancelled that appointment, but the lack of communication means that nothing gets sorted out in a satisfactory manner. The government say they're also going to create a national map of underground infrastructure to reduce excavation accidents. I have no idea what they know that we don't know about incoming excavation accidents. Anyway, watch this space. But it's not just health, security and banking. This is about a mission creep to control and surveil all of you. It's no longer this conspiracy theory that some people were talking about. It's already happening. This is what Silky said.
it's starting to happen in the NHS. We also saw AI creeping into the NHS during COVID, when lots of contracts were being given out left, right, and centre. And we're seeing police forces increasingly using AI. It's also in the welfare system. And often, this is the kind of stuff that is used to the disadvantage of people. So the government is using algorithms to flag members of the public as potential fraudsters. And that's particularly in the welfare system, people who are already on the poverty line. This isn't happening in the city. It's not happening to multimillionaires. It's happening to people who are living on, 20, 30 pounds a week. And this is spreading across the public service, let alone the private sector.
So there's a theme here. It's not affecting the super rich, any of this. They will always find a way around these sorts of systems. Their privacy may be protected. But it's happening to the little guy on the street. The government are starting to look into bank accounts of people on benefit to make sure they're spending it in the right direction. I couldn't have had Silky Carlo on without asking her about another massive story here in the UK this week. Didn't get anything like the press coverage that it should have done. And this is about digital IDs being rolled out when they go to pubs and to clubs.
This is happening in the same bill, that there is this digital identity framework being created by the government, as they call it. And it is basically an encouragement towards more widespread use of digital ID. In the bill, it is pitched as the government kind of giving a trust mark to the multiple different companies who offer digital ID now. I think the most important thing in that debate is to make sure that it stays optional, because in practice, lots of people do need to use digital ID now. For example, if you are signing a new rental agreement or doing online banking and so on. But the really important thing is that you should always have a choice. And so we've been leading the campaign in Parliament on this bill, not only on the AI and automated decisions, but on digital ID, to say, fine, make digital ID available to people who want to use it, but you have to legally safeguard our right to not use digital ID and to use other forms of ID where it's really needed, bearing in mind that there are well over 5 million people in this country who aren't even competent or even connected to the internet. And so a lot of people get cut out by these systems, and a lot of people just don't want to use them. Sharing identity data online can be very dangerous as well. So we do need to have these kinds of safeguards and protections so that we don't have to live in the digital matrix if we don't want to.
So we don't have to live in a digital matrix. Some days it feels like we already do. What Silky points out is the element of choice will remain important. Do you have any faith that it will remain voluntary? Also, imagine being a 18, 19-year-old trying to get into a nightclub. You have to show your digital ID before you get in. You can try and argue your legal rights that it isn't mandatory, that it's voluntary, but you just know where that conversation is going to end. I hate this vision of the future, and I hate being a mother of young people who are going to be walking into this vision of the future. This is a developing story. More of us need to talk about it. More of us need to be spreading this video. Do what you can. Spread it around as much as you can. Let us know in the comments below as well your thoughts on this. I will be watching.
Now, let's check some of these comments, okay, because I was reading some of them this morning. This is real, man. This is about to happen in the UK very soon, all right? Very, very soon. And I have another video, the Lord willing, I'll do tonight. And in that video, the guy's going to tell you, okay, that they're coming with digital IDs very, very soon, okay? This guy here, Tony B, he says, AI must not make any decisions for humans, period. If NHS wants to save money and hours, sack all diversity managers and their useless staff. As dehumanizing our society, this is in progress. A computer should be controlled by a human, not a human controlled by a computer. Total madness. This lady says, I am 90 and sorry for all the young people growing up in this country. God help them. And this person here says, more sinister WEF controlling coming, right? This person knows something. And I always talk about the World Economic Forum. I got so many videos talking about them niggas, okay? But it's just more than them though, but they are like the face of it, so-called, of pushing digital IDs, pushing digital currencies, pushing, a social credit score, right? Utilizing AI in every sector of life, whether it's medicine, school, policing, everything. AI will take control of everything, okay? This is madness, but this is the MOTB system that the Apostle John saw. So, hey man, keep your head on a swivel, and I highly advise you to start watching UK news. please start watching UK news. This is a UK channel here, GB News. They do great videos, man. All right. Another one here called Talk TV. Okay, great news about what's going on in the UK. But I got about, let me see, man. 1, 2, 3. But I got so many videos up here concerning the UK and what they got going on, man. I was watching some today at work, so I just put them inside my likes so that I can respond to them all. But it's a lot, bro. Okay, UK roll out digital IDs, AI bill. It's so much. Okay, of the future of AI regulations in the UK and Europe, bro. So much information, right? So Lord will not get to that, man. But hopefully it was edifying. I'll praise you. How about Shema Shabbat Shalom.